picking winners. Got my boy Mangone here. It's Holden, spread a stare. We'll be stopping by after he buries the body. And hello, Mangone. It's wonderful to see you. I know you're back in Denver now. I'm sitting here in Phoenix, and we got a lot going on in the NFL. Holy moly, what a nutty night the other night. Been very, I actually get a little anxiety from it, to be honest with you, Mangone. But we do have Week 18 to talk about. I'm excited about this. Here are the games we'll be talking about. We got a great Saturday slate. Chiefs, Raiders, Titans, Jaguars. That'll be for the playoffs. Vikings, Bears, and Cowboys, Commanders on Sunday. And then Lions and Packers for the playoffs. So we got basically two playoff games right there, and that doesn't include the other teams that are going to be rolling into the playoffs looking for seeding. Okay, Mangone, before we even get started, what's going on with this launch party, the live viewing party on Playback TV? Because I looked this morning in the Discord, I was like, holy moly, this is an incredible idea.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I didn't have Holden looking in the Discord on my bingo card today, so Holden looked in the Discord, shocker, but it's a watch party that we're going to have tonight. And this is not just going to be tonight. We're going to have it for PGA. We'll do some cut sweats at times. Maybe not this week. I don't know for sure. It's confirmed. But we'll obviously let you know the show schedules ahead of time. This will be tonight, 8 p.m. Watch party. Join JSU, Big T. They'll be on some NBA League Pass, and they'll be jumping around from game to game. Basically, what you need to do is you go to the link, playback.run Pure Sports. It's on our Twitter account, so you can easily find it. It's also posted in the announcement section over in our Discord. Also, you do not have to be a member to watch. That's the other thing that's kind of cool, right? You could be, this is a free thing that you'll be able to jump on and hang out with us. The only catch is, right, is you have to be, a League Pass person, or like you have to have like Xfinity or one of those like TV services. Now, if Big T and JSU are flipping back and forth from games on NBA League Pass, you can't watch those. For instance, let's say we're doing one for the national championship game. That's on ABC. You could probably watch that then, as long as you have like normal cable TV, or if there's a game on CBS, right? For instance, let's say golf on Sunday. There's a nice little cut action. It's the Masters. You'll be able to watch it then. You don't need any special package. But if we are on like those special packages like NBA League Pass, you just need to be signed in on it. It's really not that hard to set up as long as you have all that information. I know some people they have like, their TV service and then they don't have like their email and their passcode or something. Make sure to get all that information ahead of time. So that's kind of all you got to do. Sign up now. Don't wait to sign up later. There's going to be nothing worse than trying to get into this watch party at 8 o'clock and then for an hour trying to figure it out. Listen, good luck messaging JSU and Big T while they're doing the watch party. No, we don't want to be bothering them while they're hosting an entire show. So jump in on the watch party. It's going to be a fun time. I'll be watching along. We'll also be doing these a lot more too. It's not just going to be like one and done. I'm sure there'll be times where I'm on there. We'll have people jumping in and out, but tonight it should just be Big T, JSU breaking it all down. And who knows, maybe someone has a sweat one night and it's like 10:30 and there's like a legit sweat where you're in first place. No sweats for min cashes, Holden. Okay. We need legit sweats.
Really? No sweats for min cash?
No, we're not having someone jump on, but let's say there's a member that's in first place, right? And they're holding it. And there's only one game left. Maybe we'll fire up the stream and jump on and sweat it out with them and root at home. So there's a lot of fun ways to do this. Go check it out on playbook.com/run Pure Sports. Get signed up. Make sure you're subscribed so you can check out our channel. And it should be a really fun time. And again, you do not have to be a Run Pure Sports member technically to participate in this.
Shout out to the guys in the chat as of now. Hit the like button. It'd be great. Bill Miner. What's up, Bill? Robert, new name. Love seeing you in here too. Love seeing Spread a Stare here. Spread, I'm going to read the games off to you again because I know you were doing stuff on the bet side. Chiefs, Raiders, Titans, Jaguars on Saturday. Vikings, Bears, Cowboys, Commanders Sunday. And then Sunday Night Football, Lions, Packers. What's going on in Spread a Stare's world? I haven't talked to you for a while, buddy.
Oh, man, I'm having a great time here. NFL's in full swing. I'm going to be picking winners with the guys today. The NBA has been treating us really well. If you've been checking out the NBA Bets Playbook on runpuresports.com, we just keep giving out winners there. And, of course, that's a lot of fun. And then, of course, Holden, tennis season started up. So instead of watching big, muscular men all day, I also get to scout.
Hey, settle down. My 8-year-old daughter's right here, okay? We don't need to talk about big, muscular men. Settle down.
I'm just saying there's a chance to watch some of the finest athletes in the world on the female side in competition. I've been working with Susie. Her playbook's been fire. And I'm just saying it's just a little bit different, right? I mean, there's some aesthetically pleasing things about the sport of tennis that I think it overlooks sometimes.
Well, it's good to see you, Spread. It's good to see you, man.
Great to see you too. Where's your brick? Are you traveling?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona right now. So
oh, that's smart.
Got some family stuff to take care of, and we'll be back soon. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to this weekend.
Is Travis drinking milk right now?
He is. We talked about it.
I'm
Bro,
drinking.
you are getting ready for March, aren't you?
It's just milk and a protein shake. It's normal stuff.
Did he? Oh, you missed the story.
Are you gonna be looking jacked when I meet you?
I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully. I mean, that's the
Are you going to be pulling the C-dome and do the angle to just so we only see your arm on a show one of these days?
We'll have to see. Maybe. I mean, I don't think I can. I can't match C-dome, right? Maybe on the Friday show with C-dome, I'll have to just come in with a different angle. Hopefully, it can make me match up to him. I'm with him and JT Hayes, I think, on that show. I think, or maybe it's DC. I forget, but it's going to be some jack dudes on that show. I'm going to be very be drowned out by those two.
Yeah, man. I mean, you guys are inspiring me.
Real quick,
pick up my game.
Spread. I'll actually be out of shape for the first time in forever. But have you ever drank milk straight from the teat?
No. What kind of question is
Look
that?
at Mangone just doing this.
Okay, wait. When I was a baby, I did.
I know. See,
that's not what he's asking, Spread. He's asking if you were above the age of 5.
And I'm talking about cows, not people. Even goats.
Let's move on to the next topic.
I think that's a great idea. Let's get into our first game. If you didn't like that story, hit the like button. So, Chiefs Raiders.
Riveting, as you always like to say.
It was riveting. Yeah. I rip Tony all the time for his crappy stories, but that was not a great one.
You're like a story gatekeeper.
I am the story gate, but that was not a good one.
I can't imagine you hanging out with Aesop back in the day.
He doesn't want to get to the games.
He doesn't even let the stories marinate, Spread. Sometimes you got to kind of build it up, and he's just 2 seconds in, he's like, no, this ain't a good story.
I think listening to the story would help, but we can't ask too much.
GRS50 has drank from the teat. He worked on a dairy farm in the teen years. That's how you do it, GRS50. So we do have a 4:30 Eastern game. I believe it's 4:30 Eastern. Chiefs it's got to be Chiefs Raiders spread. We got the Chiefs 9.5-point favorites on the road. We don't know what's going on with home field advantage at this point. The Raiders are out of this thing. Jarrett Stidham looked pretty good the other night. 52.5 is the total. This is a big total. So talk to me here. Any thoughts on the side or the total? 52.5 with Jarrett Stidham, but he is playing the Chiefs defense.
We played the Niners defense last week, and Holden, do you remember on the Wishbone pod, I kept saying, hey, this is the way to get different.
I do not remember
Raiders.
That.
Well, okay.
I mean, I'm sure you said it, but
go back to the tape. JT kept dismissing all my Raiders takes because he said, I'm not playing against the 49ers defense, and that's fine. I mean, that's probably smart. There was a little bit of luck involved, right? But I really like the idea of Stidham coming in and understanding this offense much better, not to mention playing free, playing loose, nothing to lose there. And I thought he performed well. I know the Raiders fans that I'll talk to, we were all excited about the performance. I know we took the loss, but we covered a similar spread. Plus 9.5 for the 49ers. Now it's plus 9.5 against the Chiefs. I'm going to take the points again. We know this Kansas City team has not done well in covering spreads this season, right? I mean, they're like LeBron James in 2018 with the Cavs. Win every game, never cover, right? I believe, I know they did cover. When did they cover? 2 weeks ago when we finally went against them. Oh, against the Seahawks. They covered. They didn't cover last week against the Broncos. I think they're 3-9 against the spread over their last 12. The Raiders haven't been the best this season, but this is an important game for this team because I don't want to say that Josh McDaniels is coaching for his job, but a good performance here goes a long way to building some goodwill with the fan base, building some goodwill with that Las Vegas community, and bringing some excitement into next year. Regardless, the Raiders have always played the Chiefs tough as well, even under Gruden. I think it's a good matchup for this team. I do think they have the weapons to take advantage, turn this into a shootout. I really like the Raiders plus the points. I lean the over as well. What do you think, Travis? I mean, we can't ignore this game because it's a 2-game slate, but how are you approaching it?
Yeah, you definitely can't ignore it. I didn't also think we were getting a Gruden reference, so that was great to see a nice little John Gruden reference during the show. Who should we look to roster in this game? For me, obviously, it's one of those slates where salary is not really a problem. So because it's not a problem, I think we're going to go up and grab Pat Mahomes instead of like a Jared Stidham, right? It's not really that big of an issue. Sure, if you plug in, like, let's plug in Derrick Henry and then we'll plug in Travis Kelce. Now you're left with 4-8 for your spots. If you plug in Mahomes, 4-2 for running back, flex, 3 receivers, and a defense. Which, like, that's certainly, like, viable to still make work. There are sacrifices that have to be made. But the point I'm getting at is Mahomes and Kelce, they have not been options that have been prioritized as much recently. I think people will look at them a little bit more. And Mahomes definitely going to be an interesting spend option. Curious to see what people do with the rest of their quarterbacks. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence has been phenomenal. I think Trevor Lawrence will probably be the chalkier option, but we'll get to him later. But if you have the money for Pat Mahomes, play Pat Mahomes. It's kind of simple. I do think tight end, because it's only a 2-game slate, it does feel like you could just take Kelce, and he has a bit of a way of separating from the field at times. The question is going to be, can he separate from Evan Ingram, right? Evan Ingram has been balling out, so that's going to be a really interesting decision point. You also have Darren Waller. Like, this is not a bad tight end slate. So the decision point on what to do with Travis Kelce at 7.9K is going to be a big decision for sure. Then if we keep going, obviously Devontae Adams, 8.8K. He's one of the top receiver spend ups. Played amazing with Jared Stidham last week. Can we go back to him? I know was under-owned last week, and I think he comes in under-owned again this week. So I think people will prioritize Derrick Henry in a must-win. They'll prioritize Travis Kelce, the tight end position, more than I think trying to go to Devontae Adams. The only catch is Devontae Adams is in a range of his own, right? It's 8.8K for him, and then no one else there. So, yes, it's a 2-game slate. He'll gain some ownership, but I think Henry and Kelce might have more ownership overall. Like, I think Adams will become third in line when it comes to the ownership of these studded players. So, yeah, let's keep going. So Josh Jacobs is the interesting one. He is 7.4K, was in and out of the game last week, ended up getting 20 DK points. He's limited participant on Tuesday. They did mix and match some of these other guys. I know Abdullah got a little bit more work, I think, last week, or was it him or someone else, Holden? Do you remember?
Abdullah got a little bit of work.
No, it was Bolden, right? Bolden.
Yeah, Bolden, because Jacobs
went.
Yeah, Jacobs was hurt for a little while. He came back at the end of the game.
Yeah,
yes,
Bolden looked good when he did get opportunities.
Yeah, I was wondering why they mixed him in more. My only thought was, did he play with Jared Stidham back in the day or something? Was it just like a Patriots thing, trying to like connect them together?
I also think he has more size, and so he fits better for the in between the tackles type of play.
Yeah, that's fair. So I assume that if Jacobs doesn't go, you're gonna have to play roulette with these options. Kansas City, speaking of roulette, is it McKinnon? Is it Pacheco? Pacheco came out strong last week and got that touchdown early, and it felt like it was going to be a Pacheco week, and then the game was competitive, and then, hey, Kansas City had to, like, pass a bunch. I think it's pretty simple. I think if, like, you think the script is going to go where the Chiefs are leading and, like, they're leading by, like, a good amount, right, and they have the game secure, you're going to want Pacheco over McKinnon. But if the game's competitive, you want McKinnon. I just think that's how the script is going to go.
Let me just jump in real quick, because it really was kind of a neutral game script last week against the Broncos. It didn't get out of hand at all, and it was more getting dumped down to McKinnon. And he's just so explosive. I never thought I'd see this out of him. To me, he's like a top 10 back.
He's definitely the best. If you had to pick one or the other, he's the best play.
Right.
But ownership comes into a factor, and then game script comes in as a factor as well. Because if they are up 14, Holden, they're not running Isaiah. They're not running McKinnon, right? Now, could McKinnon help get them up to that big lead? Yes, he could. But it's a fair point to say that if they are beating the Raiders handedly, which I know spread said, yes, they play them close. The Raiders play the Chiefs close. But if they are beating them handedly, and like, let's say you're under on this game. Let's say you are not as excited to play this game and you play more from the other game. Grabbing Pacheco as a piece from this game and saying, let's say the Raiders kind of lay an egg. Chiefs end up winning like 28-7. Pacheco grabs 2 of those touchdowns rushing. That's perfectly viable of a route that could happen. If they're up in the fourth quarter by like 20 or 21, they're going to be running it with Pacheco. Let's be real. I mean, it's week 18. So it's a 2-game slate. Game theory is involved. Thinking of the script is important. I think it's very important to think about here. So I think he's in the conversation just because of that. I'm not going to play Mahomes, Pacheco, Kelce, and like load up on like a game stack of it. I'm going to like figure out how to, if I'm going to play Mahomes and Kelce and I want one of these running backs, it's probably then going to be McKinnon, right? For the game script, if I'm going to load up with Raiders on the other side. That's kind of the way that I think I'd go about it. So, is there anything else I missed? I know I mentioned Waller. I think I'd just rather Ingram, but Waller has been fine. Stidham versus Lawrence, that's going to be an interesting debate if you need the 700. I just don't think you're going to need the money. And I'm going to let people chase Stidham more than I'm going to go there. And I do think this next game is like kind of like I think you were going to want pieces from this like Raiders and Kansas City game, but this next game is really interesting because you have the Titans who are clearly just going to run the ball with the big dog the whole game. And then you have Trevor Lawrence and the pass game, which has a lot of different options and a nice funnel that the Titans, they're bad against the pass. So that's been the game that I think a lot of people are loading up on for sure.
Oh, you know what? Instead of going over the bet side, I think we should just stay here and talk about this next game. And that way, and spread, we'll get to you in just a second, buddy. But we got Tennessee and Jacksonville, and from a betting side, Tennessee +6.5 on the road. This, you know what this used to be? This used to be the Thursday night game that literally nobody wanted to watch except for fantasy and betting. And now it's a really important game to get to the playoffs. I also want to read off Derrick Henry's last 3 games against the Jaguars, okay? 121 and a rushing touchdown with 3 catches for 34 yards. 130 and 3 rushing touchdowns and 215 and 2 touchdowns. And I know he's going to get super owned, but Mangone, come on. You just got to lock this guy in, eat the chalk, because even if he's 80%, he's probably going off.
Yeah, it seems very hard to fade the big dog. At least you have enough like spend ups where you could find routes. Like if you played Mahomes, Adams, and Kelsey, can you get the big dog on your team? It's got to be super difficult. So there are routes where like the fade could work. Not thinking that's going to be the route that I go. I think I want to prioritize the big dog here. So he's going to be a good option. 8K against the Jaguars. I'll definitely prioritize him for sure in my lineups. The only way maybe you could say he doesn't get there is, are there 2 or 3 running backs that could like match him on this slate? And like, could you see a route where like Etienne, McKinnon, and like a Jacobs beat him? I think it could happen, but doesn't seem as likely. If I'm spending some salary, I think I'm spending on the big dog for sure. If everyone's spending on the big dog on a 2-game slate, who on earth is spending on the pass catchers? Especially because the quarterback situation is Dobbs and Malik Willis, right? It's like one or the other. I assume it's Malik. I don't think Dobbs stole the job or anything. Not that I read. So if Malik Willis is going to be in there, am I confident in playing these receivers? I think naturally you are going to have some very, very low-owned receiving options on the Titans side of the ball. So just want to call that out. A side that's not going to be low-owned is the Jaguars pass game. We know the Titans are a funnel. If you have been sleeping under a rock for the past 3 months, in the NFL, the Titans are bad against the pass. Everyone knows it. Their mother knows it. Grandma knows it. Everyone knows that they're bad against the pass. So,
do you know they're bad against the Packers? No, my daughter didn't know it. You just informed her.
Your daughter lives with you, so maybe she's living under a rock.
Hey, hold on a second. She wants to know. What were you asking, Enzi? What did you say you didn't know? I don't know anything about football because I don't watch with my dad enough.
I don't know anything about football because I don't know anything with.
Sounds like she is not subscribed to the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. She's not hitting the like.
If you want to subscribe to the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel, you are on YouTube a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Okay,
thanks for subscribing, sweetie.
Well,
all right, back to whatever you were saying.
But so Titans are obviously a team we're gonna target. I want to know what the ownership's going to be on Kirk, Zay Jones, Marvin Jones, even Jamal Agnew at 3K. Jamal Agnew can definitely pop and get in the box. Like we've seen it before. He's gotten 14.7 this year. He's gotten 21, even the 8.4 for 3K. If I could have 8.4 right now, I would sign up for that instantly. So on these slates, you want to find these like gems that can just like find a way to break it. Like I played an afternoon slate like a couple weeks ago. And listen, I didn't want to play Ray McLeod, but Saberson was like, "Hey, play Ray McLeod." And I was like,
remember that.
I was like, "Let's give it a shot, right?" I mean, it's a 3-game slate. Let's give it a chance. And Ray McLeod rips one for 75 yards, and I'm like flying up the leaderboards. Like no one's gonna play Jamal Agnew. Again, I'm not saying this dude's a core player or something, but we're on a 2-game slate. We need to think of ways to get different with our lineup. Ownership is going to be very important on the Jaguars receivers because if Christian Kirk is like 60% owned and Zay Jones is like 15% owned, who's the better play then at that point, right? Ownership is going to be key when looking at the Jaguars. Hard to give a lot of takes on it at this point. Travis Etienne is a really good play. Obviously, I'd say he's the second best running back on the slate. I would say it's Henry, Etienne, and then it's followed by McKinnon, at least for me. I think Jacobs is going to be the guy that I kind of fade and stay away from. I just think Etienne's role is so good. Yes, you can make the case that the Titans, they're good against the run and it's a funnel, but Etienne's going to be involved no matter what. So I like him. He's an every down back. He's going to see a lot of good opportunity. I'm in on that. When it comes to Trevor Lawrence, 6.1K. Dude's been absolutely balling out for like the past month or so. The Texans game, sure, he didn't play great, but like they were up and they didn't need to win that game that much. So like you give it a little bit of a pass. I think Trevor Lawrence ends up coming in as the highest owned quarterback on the slate at 6.1K. Definitely going to be a good option. Haven't talked about the tight ends yet. I mentioned Evan Ingram, but Evan Ingram versus Travis Kelce is going to be a huge decision point on this slate. If one of these guys duds, right, like a Kelce duds and gets like 8 DK points and Ingram gets you 20, that's going to be massive, right? So I really do feel confident that the decision point between Evan Ingram and Travis Kelce is going to be huge. And let's say you build a team, Holden, that's got all chalk, and you say, I'm not going to play Ingram or Kelce. You're going to be different right away from that, I think. I feel confident that the ownership of Kelce and Ingram will soak up 60 to maybe 80% of the ownership at the tight end position. You would assume Waller gains some, but then after that, I mean, yeah, it could go to a Okonkwo. That's obviously one of the options that it could go to. I don't hate him in this game, but like it's going to get thin quick. Again, Hooper's not going to get that much ownership. No one wants to bet on, the Titans quarterback situation, right? No one wants to bet on Malik Willis. So that's going to kind of shorten the slate up a little bit more than you think, because if everyone just says, I'm going to get my Titans exposure through Derrick Henry, and then they're not playing Titans pass catchers or quarterbacks, you are actually narrowing this down to a 1.5 game slate, right? Like how many people are really playing Titans? Like, and yes, you can make the case Derrick Henry's a Titan, but everyone's doing that. So that is one way to really think about how you could get different on this slate. Maybe it's with a cheap Titans, pass catcher. Maybe you just fade them all and find another way to get different. But that is definitely something that you need to be thinking about on this slate, because I think some people are going to just assume, oh, well, I just get a quick piece through Derrick Henry, and that's fine. But when you have one entire side with the quarterback and the receivers that no one wants to play, ownership just gets even higher on those other spots. I see it all the time in NBA basketball on the 2-game slates. People will say, I don't want to play this game and situation. It's awful. Maybe it's like Devin Booker comes back while Chris Paul and Ayton and all those guys are overpriced, and then no one plays them. So there is some game theory involved and some uncomfortability of playing these Titans players. Maybe it's one of the cheap receivers. Maybe it's through like a Okonkwo and hoping that the tight ends bust. So it's definitely something to think about.
Right.
So yeah. And so Robert says, is someone going to tell me that Dobbs is the starter? Yeah, I didn't even know if Dobbs was going to be the starter, just because, I mean.
Well, the news is coming out. I just.
Has it came out yet? I mean, do we know?
Huh?
Do we know who's
I'll tell you in
yet?
just a second. But the Cowboys, or the Commanders, Ron Rivera just told Taylor Heinicke he's starting, and now 3 hours later it's Sam Howell. So this is good. All this stuff's gonna be very fluid. We're just trying to keep it to a certain amount of games. So you're saying Dobbs could be starting?
Someone in the chat saying it, but like I don't disagree. I think they could go to him, but I don't know what they're going to do. And at the end of the day, does Dobbs starting or Malik Willis change your opinion on the Titans pass game, Robert? Like, does it really change your opinion on it? I don't think it does. I don't even think it changes the field's opinion on it. They're two crap quarterbacks. If you're going to, what?
It's Dobbs.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, is that going to change anyone's opinion on it? Because when they go cheap, right, at 5.1K, are they going to take Dobbs or are they going to take Stidham at 5.4? We've been targeting the Chiefs defense a lot this year. I mean, we've seen Russell Wilson, who's been looked awful all the time. So my point being, it doesn't even matter who is the quarterback back there. It doesn't matter if it's Dobbs DFS-wise. It doesn't really matter if it's Willis. It really doesn't, because no one's playing them, like I said. And that is where you're going to see ownership condense on a lot of these plays. And then you're going to see people not take chances on the Titans. So if you want to embrace a bit of a different construction, maybe it's playing Henry and then playing one of the pass catchers, or maybe it's punting with the tight end of Okonkwo. Those are the things to think about when building out your lineups. I think that's just a very big talking point, I think, on the slate, because everyone's going to play the Jags passing game. Everyone is then going to play some Chiefs in their lineup. They're going to play Derrick Henry, and they're going to mix and match maybe like a Raider or two. If they can get to Adams, maybe they'll go to a Waller. But it's just a side that no one's going to play Titans. So you have to talk about it on a 2-game slate, because that means like ownership on the Jaguars pass attack, like Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, their ownership is going to be through the roof on this slate.
All right, Mango, good breakdown there. 2-game slate. Spread. So let's go look at the spread for the Titans Jaguars. Titans plus 6.5 on the road. 40 is the total. I just want to bet everything Derrick Henry. I just want to bet if they set his carries at like 25, I want to bet over. I just want to bet 100 yards, 150 yards. For me, this is going to be a player prop game with Derrick Henry, but you got to cap the side and the total. So talk to me.
Yeah, and I think you're onto something there if you don't want to lay the 6.5, which is something that I'm hesitant to do here with this Jacksonville team that you do. So, Tyler loves these, right? You do the Derrick Henry 100-plus yards and win. Derrick Henry to score a touchdown and Jaguars to win, right? And I think that's better than laying the 6.5. But if you pin me down and you force me to take a side, unfortunately, I'm going to have to lay the points with the Jacksonville Jaguars here. I know Dobbs is playing well, but this is the thing. I've really been high. I've been higher on the Tennessee Titans than most people. But this team has just had too many injuries. They've simply had too many injuries to keep up. The Jacksonville Jaguars are getting right at the right time, and you see this so often with young quarterbacks in a new system. He's finally getting coached properly, and it took a little while because training camp's great, throwing in shorts is great, but you got to get in there, make the mistakes in game situations, and then let a great coach like Doug Peterson correct those mistakes. And I think we've seen that with Trevor Lawrence as he's finally looking like, right, this great prospect that he was over these last 8 games. And I think that's a credit to Trevor Lawrence's work ethic, but more importantly, the coaching of Doug Peterson. So if you have to pin me down on this game, I'm going to take the Jaguars minus 6.5, but I think you're right on point there with the props there. To attack it that way. And I'm sorry, I said Derrick Henry and score and win, and that doesn't correlate at all. It would be a guy like Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, or Christian Kirk to score and win. That would be a way of looking at it.
All right, so we got an interesting one here. Listen, week 18 is always a mess. And I think more than any week, you got to follow the news. You follow the news, you're going to have an edge. Because guys are sitting, guys' seasons are over, just like the next game we're going to talk about. Mangone and I were trying to find these games this morning, and I was like, all right, let's do Bears game. Let's do Bears and Vikings. And about an hour ago, Justin Fields, his season's over. Nathan Peterman is the starter now in this game spread. I mean, instead of breaking down, like how do you bet these games now?
You don't.
You don't? You just stay off.
I mean, I know this is a betting show, and I know we want the action and stuff, but I mean, if we're really being smart here, where are you finding your edge? Because if you're running projections like we do, what are my projections going to tell me? We have no idea how much this affects the spread. And you've been watching this team. Without Justin Fields, this isn't much of an offense here. I mean, I guess you could take the Vikings, but everybody's going to take the Vikings, and you're going to be paying a premium price for it. To me, when you get these late news, you stay away. I think when you're week 18, you're either, number one, you understand the backup quarterbacks better than the market. That's how you could find an edge. For guys who watch a lot of college football, they can understand which one of these backups are going to be able to come and perform, which ones that aren't. Or, you're taking advantage because the books are going to put a premium on, because then it's a situation, right, when one team has to win and the other one doesn't, right? Who wants to bet the Bears this week, right, with nothing to play for? But you're going to be paying that takes. You're going to be paying the premium. So if you want to bet that, you need to have a reason. I would, a lot of times I'd be taking the points here, but I just don't want to do it watching this team. They haven't been able to move. Their only offense really is Justin Fields running. They haven't had a decent passing attack at all. Nobody's blaming Fields for that. They say he doesn't have the weapons. Now you get a quarterback that's been absolutely terrible in his whole career, has no threat of running the ball. This is a really tough game to handicap. I'm completely fine sitting on the sidelines here.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Again, you're not – week 18 is not the best week for betting unless you can find a super edge underneath. and the books are also smart too. So they're going to know about these edges as well. But Mango, let's talk about this. We'll start from the Vikings side of things. Okay. Justin Jefferson's a total stud. Yeah. He had 1 catch last week for 15 yards. If you were in redraft, you're upset about that. If you had him anchoring your DFS, you're upset about that. But why are we just not putting him right back where we need to put him, which is building lineups around him? Good idea, bad idea?
Pretty good idea because they're playing at 1 o'clock, Holden, right? So Kirk Cousins knows how to throw a football.
Oh, good point.
It's just the truth. It's one of the most bizarre things I've probably seen in sports. I don't know how to explain it. But the dude just sucks when it's not 1 o'clock. I don't know what to tell you. And hey, it's 1 o'clock, so that's good for Justin Jefferson. I do feel like part of the problem was him, and it wasn't really Jefferson last week. It was Kirk Cousins not being able to deliver him the football.
You're not giving your cornerback Jair Alexander credit?
No, I'm not.
That's wow.
I mean, it's. I mean, there's tons of footage I saw on Twitter of Jefferson open. Like, yeah, he made the one nice play, but and I think Jair's a good corner, and not just good. He's up there. I don't know where I'd rank him, but he's up there in corners. But at the end of the day, Justin Jefferson's matchup proof, right? And the only thing that can really stop him is Kirk Cousins himself. It feels like so. I think overall, Jefferson, do you think he's an interesting spend on this slate? The key is he worth it? When they're going to have a leading script likely and you got Peterman back there, I mean, that's the one brutal thing. It is kind of interesting, though, because the Vikings defense has been the defense to target in DFS, right? It's definitely been the one. This game is in Chicago. I wish it was in Minnesota, because if it was, I think you could make a case that Peterman could be interesting just because everyone has gotten through the Vikings defense. I mean, everyone. The only downside is they don't have receivers, right? Like if they have – let's say Peterman had like a Devontae Adams on him. Maybe he'd be able to have a chance against this defense, but that's the real downside. The receivers on the Bears are just absolutely brutal. If you are looking for a tight end option, I think you can make a case for a Cole Kmet. He's 4.6K. Tight end this week, it's definitely not amazing. There's some interesting options, but I do think you got to put Cole Kmet in the conversation at 4.6K just because he's basically the receiver one, I feel like there, or close to it, or as close as a tight end can get as one. So, and it's the Vikings defense, right? That's what we're targeting. We like targeting that Vikings defense. Maybe we do it through the run game. Maybe it's through Khalil Herbert or David Montgomery. I know Herbert's gotten a little bit more work. The question is, will he fall in the end zone? And is that going to even be enough? That's the big debate. And then David Montgomery has so much bust potential at 6'5", so that's the worry. So Chicago Bears side of the ball is a little tougher to roster. If you do think the Vikings put up points, TJ Hawkinson, 5'7", obviously one of the better tight end plays on the slate. If you got the money for it, I think it's worth it. Justin Jefferson, 9'1". If you got the money for it, he's worth going to get. He's probably one of the better spends on the entire slate. And then running back wise, you can't talk me into rostering Dalvin Cook. I'm not interested in that. And I'm not that interested in Kirk Cousins. I think he's fine, but he's probably not going to be someone I'm loading up on.
I'm with you, Shark Killer, in the chat. I think Chicago is going to play hard just to trip them up and be spiteful. Yeah, they'll play hard. Nathan Peterman is going to be their quarterback, though. And these two teams played last year, 31-17 Vikings over the Bears. I don't know if we can really look at any of that. I'm just mentioning that's it. We did have quite a few double-digit finals in Week 18 last year as well, which I think is kind of interesting. Okay, let's keep going here. It is the thumbs up, the like button would be great. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And Mangone, can we get another breakdown of what we have going on with our live sweat show, JSU and Big T? Yeah,
so we got a live sweat show that will be at 8 o'clock tonight. It is on Playback. So go to playback.com. I think it's one of the slashes, right? Run Pure Sports. Be sure to check that out. We have it posted on Twitter. If you can't find it, it's on our Twitter page. Just scroll and find one of the posts from earlier today. It's in the announcement section in our Discord. And the fun thing, too, is let's say you are not a Run Pure Sports member. You could come hang out and watch with us. Big T and JSU will be watching the NBA League Pass games today. Jump on. If you have NBA League Pass, you can't be on an illegal stream. You got to have NBA League Pass. So if you want to actually watch us, you got to sign up or have it. Go in there, sign up, get set up, do it now. Don't do it later. So then JSU and Big T aren't getting DMs from you guys trying to get help because they're not helping you. They're going to be busy on the show, so they shouldn't be helping you. Try and get it figured out now. Get in there, and then hang out and just sweat the games, right? It should be a really fun time. Who knows? Maybe if like AP has like a big sweat going on, maybe AP jumps on the show then, and we start watching whatever game matters. We're gonna bounce around for which game is closest, which game is best DFS wise. Let's say someone in Big T's core is absolutely smashing. Maybe we want to like go ahead over there and watch that. So should be a fun time. It's all in sync. There's a live show chat too, so we can all talk in the chat and have a good time. You can throw emojis in there. It's a cool little setup. So be sure to sign up for it. It's playback.com/runpuresports. Should be a lot of fun. I'll be in that chat. Hopefully you guys are too.
Can I point out, Travis, that you can listen to the audio if you don't have League Pass? So let's just say you're on wherever you get these.
You can listen to the audio for free?
Yeah. I listen to the audio on the Dunker Spot one all the time.
Cool. On the what?
The Dunker Spot does this too, and I listen to the audio and I'll just have it on my TV. I don't feel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think if I guess you could go that route.
Just you listen. Just use your cable provider, YouTube provider, or call your friends and get one.
I'm just saying, if you don't have it, you can listen to the audio because I want to watch it on my 55-inch screen. I'm not sitting there watching a game on my phone. I can't even see it on my 55-inch screen. I'm so
you won't, but you won't be in sync then. Like you'll be ahead.
It's not that bad.
All right, enough.
No, spread. It won't be as good an experience.
It's not like they're giving out the play-by-play. It's not like JSU's going to be like
spread in the chat.
Donovan Mitchell's dribbling it down. He's catching
before it happens. Spread. Be in sync with everyone. We're all watching together. Everyone. We're watching at the same time.
I'm just trying to help out the economically disadvantaged viewers.
Yeah, this is BS, Spread. I'm not in on this. I want us all watching together. That's not good mojo, Spread. We need good mojo here.
All right, drink the milk.
Enough already, she says. Enough already.
Yes,
good. I got you guys to shut up.
Right.
Anyways, West Coast Gem, Mangone got a beard going, giving C-Dome a run for his money. Only guy I want to hang out with is Holden. You don't want to hang out with me. I'm boring, dude. I just sit on my couch. Now Daddy's actually got to work here, kid. And then Spread is yelling at the clouds. So it's
is it me it's wrong? No, it's the kids.
Let's move on. How does that sound, buddy? David Blau, by the way, is starting again for the Cardinals because they want to make sure Colt McCoy doesn't get hurt for next year. DeAndre Hopkins is sitting as well. It's just going to be a mess. Sam Howell is starting for the Commanders. Again, Ron Rivera is just it's not going well for him right now. Had no idea he was getting eliminated for the playoffs. Told Heineke that he was starting, and then he changed his mind, decided to go with Sam Howell. You got the Cowboys on the other side. What are they playing for seeding at this point? So it's a 425 game. It used to be a great rivalry. Nobody really cares about it except for Commanders fans. But spread, Commanders plus 7.5 now. You get that hook at home. 41 is the total. I don't know much about Sam Howell, to be perfectly honest with you. I know there was a lot of talk about him in college. But talk to me here. Is this just another game to fade because it's 7.5, the total, or can you find an angle?
I'm not going to bet this game, but, if you're doing the pick 'em pools, I would take the points with the Commanders here. I know a lot's been made about this quarterback change, but, I mean, if you watch Carson Wentz or some Taylor Heineke, how much of a downgrade could it really be? How much of a downgrade could Sam Howell really be? And, hey, I could be really wrong. Sam Ehlinger is absolutely terrible. He was a downgrade from Matt Ryan, so that could happen. But all that really matters for the Cowboys is the win. They're not going to have the incentive to put up the margin. The Commanders are going to try and run the ball. Of course, we know that leads to the clock running. Much better chance, less plays. I'll take the points here if I have to. Once again, I'm not betting this game. I'm just giving you advice for if you're picking pools or something like that. I think this is another one that you're fine to stay away from. But if you have to make a choice, you're picking all the games, I would take the points here.
All right. Well, Mangone, I'm sure we can find something from the DFS side in this game, right? I don't really want to invest in the passing game. I don't know what you think about Howell. But on the other side, listen, CeeDee Lamb has just gone off recently, and he's turned into one of the 5 best options out there. I can't imagine with this game not having as much allure with Howell on one side. Can you find anything DFS-wise that we can get in there and get some leverage?
Yeah, I think we can find something. It's again, this slate's not going to be the best slate. When we were looking through the games, it was brutal trying to find it. Sam Howell's 4.9. I wish he was 4K. Maybe I can consider it against Dallas defense. I'm good. I'll pass. Other spots, I think I can find some better plays. Dak Prescott, you could make a case for him just because he could easily pop off for a big game and get 30, but that also requires the Commanders, like, pushing the pace, right? Like, I like games that interact. I like games that you look at the TV and, like, for instance, the Bucks and the Panthers. I didn't know for sure if that game would shoot out, but I thought there was a possibility it could, right? I thought it wasn't like crazy. I do think it's kind of crazy to think Sam Howell shoots out with these guys, but you could have made the case made for last week with Stidham as well. So I'm just not a big Howell fan, but we'll have to see how he shakes out. Maybe we could get some exposure through some other options. Like Antonio Gibson, he didn't play last week, hasn't practiced this week. Brian Robinson at 5'6". Certainly with the volume he's going to see, he's intriguing. The only
what if he
downside
doesn't play? What if he doesn't play? I think it'd be a shock if he didn't play. He didn't practice today. How great is Gibson? Gibson might not even play.
Well, Gibson might not play. I'm saying, you don't think Robinson Jr. plays?
He missed practice. I'm just saying Jonathan Williams could be the RB1.
Well, I mean, if Williams is the RB1, you would consider it because he's 4.3K and he's an RB getting all the work. The big key, though, is, and why I was kind of getting the not liking Robinson as much is because if he played, he's not getting pass catching work, right? And Williams is getting that work. So if you have Robinson Jr. and a Gibson miss, Williams would obviously be a really sick play at 4-3 just because of the volume he's going to see and what he can do for your full lineup, even though it's a very tough matchup and not the easiest spot. But this is week 18, the last week of the season. We get a lot of these absolute running backs that are not great that turn into bell cow running backs basically in like one out of nowhere. So that could happen in this situation. The Dallas side of the ball is definitely one that I think you have to think about. What are they going to do with Tony Pollard? Practiced on Wednesday. I could see them mixing and matching Pollard and Elliott, and then as the game goes on, just getting Malik Davis a little bit involved. So it's something I want to kind of keep hearing about the practice reports, hear what happens. But this could be some running backs that we are interested in. And then do we want to play CeeDee Lamb at 8-2? 8-2 is a hefty tag, and I just don't think I need to get there. He's fine. I'd rather just get my way to Jefferson, I think. I'd rather just go all the way up to him if I can instead. I think that just makes a little bit more sense to me. Not excited to play like Gallup, Hilton. Noah Brown is one of those guys I think that could he could play in both scenarios, right? Like if the game is tight and if the game is not, he could just be like the wide receiver one out there still getting some work. So I think there are routes for him to work as a cheapie, but this is a tough game DFS wise. It's definitely not an easy one. And listen, there's a lot of tough games DFS wise. This Sunday slate is not an easy one. And I think we are going to be very dependent on news falling our way. And when there is good news, of a player that's in a really good spot, I think we're going to want to eat those good situations just because the alternatives on this slate are not going to be the best. We're going to have to find other ways to be unique with our lineups.
Yeah, listen, I think that we talk about the news, and I think when you're trying to figure out all this mess, what we do great here at RPS is finding the leverage and finding the gems. And that's just the way it is. So stick around because this is going to be fun. I actually love the chaos. And the more chaos we have, I feel like the guys that we work with, Mangone, Tony, and everybody else, and then spread on the bet side, I think we just give you a huge edge. Like button would be great. We got one more game to get to, and that's going to be Sunday Night Football. And this is going to be a lot of fun. Mangone, I don't know if you're looking forward to this or not, but I am. This is going to be terrific. So we got the Lions at the Packers spread. The spread is 4.5-point favorites at home for Green Bay. 49 is the total. And I think one thing I'm looking at with this game, you got Dan Campbell as your head coach. I know people love what he did this year. He'll bite your knees or whatever. He's not good in these close games, or he hasn't been historically. I have a hard time backing the Lions here, even with the 4.5 points. What do you think?
Yeah, the 4.5 I think is a pretty good number by the bookmakers. But if you're a Packers fan, I mean, what a great way to end the season. You get to play two dome teams outdoors where you've traditionally excelled. And we talk about certain players that have struggled outside. Jared Goff is one of them. I know he had 2 good games in New York this year, but he's kind of reverted back to that same player that does struggle outside. This Lions team, they're like the Vikings, right? They're built for speed. They're built to put up points, and the defense isn't where they want to be yet. I really like what they've done on the offensive side in the football. Now they're going to have to draft some defensive talent. And then, Dan Campbell's tough nose, hard-nosed attitude is really going to match this team. But with the talent that they put out on the field right now, it's really tough to see them. So I think Green Bay's got a great chance to get the win and potentially secure that playoff spot. So the question comes, do I want to lay 4.5, or do we see the Lions keeping this one close? This isn't a game that I have a huge edge on, Holden. Right now, it says to take the Packers, but I don't love it. I don't love having the Packers here because I do think that the Lions could keep this one close. It'll be interesting to see how much this Packers offense, which has been rejuvenated lately. And it's funny because I said this at the preseason, and it took about 10, 11 weeks for it to bear out. But I said, when you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, he's going to make these young receivers good. These receivers they've been getting open and catching the ball their whole life. It just took a little while to get the chemistry. But this team has found the chemistry at the right time. It could be another blowout. I mean, look what the Packers did to the Vikings last week. They can put it on you, and they have the team that's built to play with the lead, running the football, playing in the cold. So I don't love it, but if I'm forced to take a side, I'm going to lay the points with the Packers.
Okay. It's interesting. 4.5 again. Interesting. I wonder if this thing comes down to the final possession. It'd be fascinating. This would be a fun game to live bet, too. I mean, we'll all be locked in on it, but live betting that would be great. Mangone, I don't even think we have showdown prices up for DraftKings. I couldn't find them. So I'd kind of like to just talk to you about both sides, just a couple players here. DeAndre Swift. Everybody knows I can't stand this guy, but he went off again last week. Jamal Williams finds his way in the end zone. On the Packers side, passing game, how condensed is this passing game? Talk to me here. What do you think?
Holden, you hurt my feelings at the start of this breakdown before. You said, I don't know if you care about this game. Holden, I care more than anyone. You know why? I got the cheese.
Oh, Mangone.
Oh, wow. Right? Drinking milk with cheese on your head? This guy's pro dairy today.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
I love it. He has props.
Yeah, I'm a Packers fan, right? I own a cheesehead. I don't think I busted this thing out in a minute, but I figure in the big games, right? You got to at least whip it out, right? I'm not sitting here bringing it to a game and wearing it, but I have it as a novelty, right? And go Packers. I'm rooting them on. I hope that they get the job done. You said the line's 4.5. That is a tough one to legs. I think it's going to be a close game. I've thought about I'll probably bet this game. I'll probably wait for a good live line where I can just sit and jump on it. And if I never get a good live line as a Packers fan, I'll be okay about it, right? If I never get a good live line, that means we win the entire game and we just go on to the next round. But yeah, we don't have any DFS pricing. I looked at the DFS pricing. It's not there. So I don't think I want to play Rodgers and captain. I'll say that. I don't think I even want to play Goff. I think I want to target some of these position players. The question will be which ones. I think Allen Lazard would be a really good one. That some of these receiving options, just because of the boom bust that they have, the potential is just too good. Aaron Jones, obviously a really interesting option. I'm not dying to play too many of the receivers on the Lions. I think you could make a case for Amon-Ra St. Brown just because he's in the slot, right? And with St. Brown being in the slot, I don't think Jair is going to follow him that much throughout the game. We'll see. But I think Amon-Ra St. Brown could be an intriguing option. But I need to see pricing. That's going to make it really difficult. And it'll be a fun game. I will certainly be locked in. No one's interrupted me during this game. I'm rooting on the Packers. I know I've kind of been a little sour on them this year and was hoping they would trade Rodgers away just so we can watch him win somewhere else. But with the NFC being wide open, my fandom's back for a second. I'm going to root at home and hope for the best for the boys.
I'm just proud of you for wearing that cheese head. We need more props here. We need more props.
I'm all about the props, Holden.
Yeah, real props and cheesehead props. Okay, here's the deal. RPS watch party on playback tonight at 8 Eastern. I'm like, playback? What's playback? Playback is a place where you can sweat games with us. So here's what you got to do. JSU and Big T going to be watching the games on League Pass. We're going to be looking at the DFS standings. Tony, I think, said he's going to be doing some live betting too. Go to our room, the Run Pure Sports room at playback.tv/Run Pure Sports. I'll say it again. Playback.tv/Run Pure Sports. Sign up for a free account. Log in with your TV provider, even YouTube, and you're going to get access there. So I'm really looking forward to that. If you want more information, we'll be talking about it on the Up to Lock show with me and JSU and Big T as well. Spread, wonderful to see you, my friend. Hope you have a great day.
Yeah, great to see you, Holden.
Yeah, and Mangone, again, love the cheesehead. Brought a lot of personality to the show. Please wear it again.
Yeah, I'll wear it when the moments are right. You know what I mean? We'll have to maybe next
right.
week we'll have to have it again. Again, I don't wear this thing. You know, I'm not sitting on my couch every Sunday wearing this thing and watching it. I don't even think I've worn it once this year, but I might not wear it throughout the game, Holden, but I'll bring it downstairs for the good luck. I'll have it in the room, right? You know, ready to go. I'll have the jersey on. You know, here and there, you got to at least bring out the big stuff for the big games, and it's going to be a fun one. I'm very excited for Sunday Night Football. We've had some real duds on primetime, and we haven't seen the Lions on primetime in who knows how long. So I think the atmosphere and just everything's going to be absolutely awesome for it.
All right. Thank you very much for checking out the show. Spread, of course, just got done with his show before he hopped on. Spread has a great show. What'd you have? The NBA rundown today. And coming to make sure you check that out. NBA playbacks coming up tonight. We got PGA stuff. I mean, it's just nuts. It's an absolutely nutty time of year here. And golf's one of our best sports. And I do want to I want to give a shout out because I think I only talked about Tambo, Big T, and I can't even remember the other guy. Hoop and AP, two of my favorites at golf, helping me win money. So is that a make good, guys? I don't think Hoop cared. And AP probably doesn't care.
To be fair, Holden, I saw your tweet came out and I saw you only tagged 3 people.
And I said everyone else.
And I joked to myself. I said, my name wasn't tagged. My feelings are hurt. But then I said, no, he said everyone else. My feelings are fine.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Don't get your feelings hurt.
No. There's way more things that you could do to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. I know. Okay. Well, thanks for watching the show. Like button on the way out. Leave us some comments, whatever. Okay. And let's keep running pure.